Now boarding all passengers to thebasis.net.
Hey, there we are. Welcome, everybody. Who do we got here? We got Evan Brooks. Hey, man, welcome. FG Jazz Bass. I like your name, if you couldn't tell. Man, who else we got? Bass Players Anonymous. Welcome, Ben. I'm also looking forward to this. Jasper from Belgium. Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate that. I don't know what time it is over there. Probably in the evening or something like that. It's only 10 in the morning over here. I've been up for a few hours already. I've still got like paint on my elbows. I've been painting walls here. Not here, but in the other room in the house. So I'm waking up. We're still getting there. Can you guys hear the bass okay? Is that coming through? Need to warm up still. Hey, Colin, how's it going, man? Who else we got here? Evan says, is Sarah in the chat today? She told me, good luck puppy training. When I first got Hank, I'm assuming Hank is your dog, and we finally got him potty trained this week. Hey-o, that's a big plus. Been days without an accident. You know what? I told Sarah what I was doing today, or I mean, I told a lot of people. You've probably seen in the posts or on Instagram or something like that, like, hey, I'm gonna live stream a recording session. I'm gonna play through a tune and show you how everything does. And Sarah's like, cool. I'm not coming to that one tomorrow. So I don't know, she might show up just to show some support, but she sees me work all the time, so she might not be here today. What else we got? 1900, 7 in the evening. There you go. Awesome. Cool. Evan, what kind of dog is Hank? My dog Dracula is he's a German Shepherd boxer mostly. Oh, you got a German Shepherd. Dang, that's a big dog. 5 months, and he's already 54 pounds. Dang! Yeah, Dracula's only 75, 70 something. He's a big dog, but he's only half Shepherd. Paul, welcome from Milano. I don't know if I've had someone tune in from there before, but welcome. So today is going to be a little bit different than my normal live streams. I'm going to be playing through a song that someone emailed me to play bass on. Because believe it or not, that's how I do a lot of my work these days. I see bass is groovy, so that must mean that you can hear it. But yeah, a lot of my work is kind of done this way remotely, where people send me a song that's got no bass on it. I do a couple of passes and I email it back to them, and that's it. I can seriously count on one hand the amount of times that I've gone to a recording studio this year and maybe even last year also. So the majority of this stuff is done exactly in this way. So thought it'd be cool just to kind of take you guys along for the ride. Shoot, where'd the bass go? I got one of those cables that's got the on and off switch on it. So I keep forgetting that I'm muting the bass. I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes, give a few other people to join in. So if you're just joining me, do me a favor, tell me where you're from, give me your name, I'll shout you out. And if you haven't done so yet, you can follow me on any of these social platforms. Instagram, Twitter is at Jamie Lewis, as you can see. Facebook's the only oddball. That one's at Jamie Lewis Bass, because somebody's already got the other one. And hey, if you haven't done so yet, please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. That just improves the rankings and makes it so that more people are gonna get notified that I'm going live right now. And also, I should take this moment to say a very quick thank you to GHS Strings. These guys are fantastic. In fact, I'm using them on this bass right here. They've been kicking ass and taking names since 1964, which is funny because when I was hanging out with John Moody, one of the guys who works at GHS, I was hanging out with him a couple weeks ago, and someone was like, hey, what year did GHS start making strings? And he turns to me, I'm like, 1964, because I say that in every podcast. But yeah, they make badass strings. I highly recommend you check out the Bass Boomers and the Precision Flats. two of my favorite strings. So go check them out at ghsstrings.com. Tell them that Jamie sent you. Let's see if we got any new friends joining us today. Hey, Bluefoot, welcome, man. Scotty says, hey, brother, I'm here, but sadly not there. Well, you can't win them all. I'm here too. Yeah, so you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump right in. Anyone else who joins us, they'll just have to get caught up on their own. So, like I said, an artist sent me a song. Hold on, let me get to the right scene. An artist sent me this song right over here. Let me see, is it this button? Hey, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to that chat screen every once in a while. I'm gonna be talking for a little bit, and then I'll just jump over there to see if you guys have any questions. But yeah, so let me just kind of start from square one, I guess. Let's see, how long is this song? Roughly, what is that, about 2-3 minutes? Yeah, right down here, you can see it's almost 3 minutes long. So I haven't listened to this song yet. I mean, not really. They emailed it to me last night, and I just dropped it in the session and spot checked it to make sure that it was working and not like all garbled, which, you know, it can happen sometimes. But I'm coming at this completely fresh. I haven't practiced it. I haven't learned it. You guys are going to hear it at the same time that I am. So I guess the first thing that I'm going to do when someone sends me a song like this is I'm going to listen to it, not all the way through. I'm going to just jump around and check a few different spots, maybe listen to about 30 seconds total. And the reason for that is I want to get a feel for the vibe of the song, meaning what type of instrument should I use? What types of pedals or processing should I do on the way in? Or maybe just leave it all dry and let the producer do that in post. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do first. I'm just gonna take a listen, and you guys can listen along with me. And by the way, if you can't hear the track, I'll jump back over to the comment section really quick. Oh shoot, wait, what am I doing? Hold on. I'm breaking things. This is what I want. Okay, I'm gonna come back over here. I'm gonna press play, and just let me know if the volume's okay. I can turn it up or down. But yeah, let's just listen for a little bit. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm hearing there's a riff that da 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 ba da da ba ba da 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 da, something like that. There's going to be some hits because it's not the same thing over and over again. You can see where I just stopped it. It went to da 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 ba ba da da, and there might be some different ones. I don't know, man. I haven't listened all the way through yet. So probably I'm going to make a chart for this song. It'll be really easy, more than likely. Oh yeah, let me pause really quick. Are you guys hearing it okay? It says good volume, sounds good. What a funky, groovy track. Yeah, so like I said, what I'm doing right now is I'm just listening and going, okay, so what would be the most appropriate thing tone-wise and just instrument choice for this song? If you only have one bass, then use the one that you've got. I happen to have quite a few different tools, so yeah, I'm gonna make that decision as we keep listening. But if you've been here before, you know that I'm a big fan of the J-Bass because it's very versatile. So more than likely it's going to be this guy. But let's just keep going. I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn my phone off if I can find it. Where the hell is it? I just heard it beep. Ah, it's hidden right here in front of all this junk. Hold on. All right, turn that off. Put it there so I don't lose it. All right, let me come back over here. I'm just going to spot check a few places and see if anything changes, either tonally, dynamically. I don't know, just to see what we got. Let's jump over somewhere here. Okay, so I'm going to assume this is like a chorus or a bridge or something like that, given yeah, where it is in the song. So you can see like the drum switch to like a doom ga ga doom ga boom ga ga. Kind of goes to like a 1960s maybe surf kind of vibe. So that'd be cool. I'll get to play around a little bit more. There's that riff that's in the verse, and then it looks like this section. yeah, that riff disappears. So that means I get to play around a little bit more. That's important when you're, I don't know, when you're trying to come up with ideas. If you hear a riff, if you hear a repeating pattern, it's like, all right, I've got to lock in with that for the most part. And then when that disappears, it's like, all up to you, man. What do you feel like? What do you feel like doing there? So here's the thing. I was a little bit disingenuous when I was talking about the first thing I do is I listen through and I'm going for tone and ideas. And in this particular case, I actually already know the sound that they want because they asked for it. Now, here's the thing. As I was listening to it just now, what I would actually gravitate towards is not a J bass. I would want a precision bass with lots of mids, a really honky sound, maybe some flat wounds or tape wound strings, either miking up an amplifier like an Ampeg B15, and just going for like I don't know if you guys are familiar with Justin Meldal-Johnson, but something like what he did on the last Paramore album. It was a fantastic record. I don't know if you guys have listened to it. But that's kind of what my gut is telling me what I should be doing. But the producer in this case specifically asked, they sent me not this track, but another song that they're trying to emulate with this track that's got this huge bottom end to it. So they're kind of like, they're doing the opposite of what I think they should do, which is okay. This is music, there's no wrong answers. But so in this case, I know that they want a specific big, boomy, scooped sound. So we are gonna go with the J. But if I was coming into this blind and they didn't give me any instruction, that would have been my process, what we did just now. Is just kind of listen through and go, okay, what's the sound? And then hopefully you know your tools well enough to be like, oh yeah, this P bass, this amp, these pedals, and kind of start to craft the sound. But I will say this, Cullen is a fan of JMJ, so am I, yeah. Well, I will say this. What was I gonna say before I said I was gonna say this? I don't know, screw it. Let's just move on. The next step, again, because I heard that there were some hits and some differentiation between like the verse and the chorus, like the riff changed or disappeared, I am gonna chart this song out. I think this is a good idea, even though, let's say this is a real simple song that's just A, B, or verse, chorus, verse, chorus. I mean, yeah, I could probably just riff it and go along, but I like to chart songs out because I'm a visual learner as well. It gives me something to read and something to look at while I'm tracking. And then also a really cool tip is if you chart out the song, I send the not the MP3s, I send the WAV files back to the artist with their bass track and a PDF file. It's like, hey, here's a chart for your song, because they didn't send me one, and they never do. Typically, I charge extra for that if there's no chart and I have to make one. Sometimes I'll charge, just depending on the budget and who the artist is. But in this case, yeah, I'm just going to do it for free because they're helping me out by giving me the song to use in this live stream. But that's another thing that just kind of makes you makes you stand out from everyone else. Is you turned in a chart with music as well. So like, hey, if you guys go out and tour or do a thing, like this will help your bass player learn the song. I don't know, helps me. So let's jump back over to this screen. Let me just listen to this one time. Let me chart it out. Again, I'm doing this right now. So let's see how it goes. Here we go.
So good when it feels so right, like we'll be this young all of our life. Got your number memorized, can't forget the best summer of my life. Late, great, never looking for a steady smile. Play tapes, hitting rewind, trying to lay down a track. The summer of my life, at the time I thought I was bored. Even going away to school, always told me did you ever hear an old school phone? I just wanna pick you up. I just wanna try my love.
Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second to make a quick note.
I I just wanna make you.
It was right there. I'm just going to add a marker. I'll explain what that was in a second. Let me keep going.
I just wanna drown my love. 50-50, we can run. When we hit the top, I'll blow your mind.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me, again, I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. Let's get another one right there. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, let me just explain really quick what I was doing. These are called markers. If you're new to digital recording, this is what it looks like. This is called the DAW Studio One. It's made by Presonus. This is what I use. A lot of people use Pro Tools, Logic, GarageBand. I mean, they all kind of do the same thing. But anyways, so yeah, as you can see, let me zoom out so you can see them all. I dropped these little markers where I heard something cool that maybe I want to latch onto while I'm playing. This first one, I don't remember what it was. Okay, the kick drum disappeared right for a second. Did you hear that? I'll back it up for a second. All right, so that's something that whatever line I'm playing, I want to break right there with the drums because we're a rhythm section. That's kind of the point. So every time I dropped one of these markers, it was just letting me know like, hey, something cool happened there, either with the drums or the guitars or the vocals, and that's something that maybe I want to latch onto when I'm coming up with ideas. And that's something that actually I think the best of the best session musicians do is like people ask all the time like how do you come up with bass lines? How do you come up with ideas, with the grooves and licks and stuff? And sometimes I don't. Sometimes someone else came up with it already, and I just listen to it and be like, oh, that's really cool. Let me double that, or let me harmonize with that, or play something counter to it. I don't know. You'll see what I mean in a second when I actually start playing through. Let me jump back over the chat here. Let's see if anyone's got any questions for me. Jasper, make a second choice, one they want, and then give me a track that you think would work. So Jasper, you're actually, yes, you're on the right track. When I record like this, especially the artist isn't here, sometimes I can Skype them in if it's long distance, or the best is to be in person, get them in the room with you. But yeah, like I don't really know what they're gonna like and what they're not gonna like, and I'm not gonna do any revisions. That's just how I roll. Some people will do a track, they'll send it back, and if you give them feedback, you know, like, oh yeah, I'll do another pass for you. I don't do that. You're gonna have to pay me again if you want that, because I just don't have the time. So what I do is I'll give you one that's very straightforward. I'll give you one that's maybe a little bit deviated, and then maybe a third track where I pull out all the stops. I definitely overplay, and you're probably not going to use that one, but you might copy and paste some pieces from it into the more safer takes. So I'll typically do 2, maybe 3. It just depends on the song. But yeah, Jasper, you're on the right track. Low End Lover says, I so want to see the video, but my network is not working out well. Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. This is gonna be available on the YouTube channel afterwards and at thebassist.net. So if you're having trouble, or if anyone's having trouble, you can come on in. B minor to A major, you're absolutely correct. So that means this song is in the key of G, or E minor. That's good to know. Before I start charting, I actually gotta know what key it is. Let's see what else we got. Baseline chop shop. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I answered all the questions. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come over here and we're gonna chart this song out. This is how I like to do it. Go away. What the heck's going on? Dang it. Wait for it. Hold on. Go away. All right, hold on. Let me try restarting this software here. Finale for Windows, not playing nice. Okay, hopefully we don't lose anybody here. Are we still connected? It looks like everything's good. Oops. Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, cool. This one. All right, we're back in business. And let me just double check. Did I lose anybody? Are we all still there? Scotty says yes. Awesome. Hey, Scotty, by the way, I did get a message from you on Facebook, I believe. And I answered that question in detail in a new video that's going to be going up, I think next week, maybe the week after. I'm not sure. I have to check the schedule. He needs some milk. He might. What was I saying? Yeah, so stay tuned. I'll get to that, I promise. Just letting you know. Hey, by the way, I guess this is a good time to let you know that there's going to be a new series at thebassist.net, here at the YouTube channel as well, of just a Q&A. So if you guys have specific questions, you can leave them in the comments on those Q&A videos, and I'll get around to them, I promise. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, dude. Okay, so let's come back over to here. And yeah, give me just one quick second to do this. These need to be, again, this is kind of a extra step. You don't really need to do this. I really like to, because again, to give this to the artist afterwards makes you look really, really good. So let's see, we had, ow. Wait for it. I promise this isn't gonna take long. We had ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. So ba-da-da, ba-da-da, da. And then it was pretty much the same groove. Yes, it was, or at least that's what I wrote down. So I'm just going with my gut here. If things are different, if they need to change it all, yes, do not show ever again. So this is like the main riff, obviously just rhythms. Uh-oh, I don't know what I just did. Is it these two? Is it these two? Dang it. Either way. Yeah, so where's my chords? This is a B minor, to, go away. B flat minor, and I guess actually I need to do this. Why is that not disappear? Know how to use your software. So let me get this. A minor, ba-da-da. Is it the same? Ba-da-da, da-da-da. And then probably back to that. B flat minor chord. Now I'm just gonna kind of do like rough sections here. I'm not gonna chart out the whole entire song because as you can see, it's gonna take a little while. So I'm gonna leave all of this area over here blank. And I'm just gonna do like a very shorthand version. Gosh. Sorry, I normally use this software on a Mac computer. I'm doing it on Windows today, and all the hotkeys are different. So I keep hitting buttons, and you see I'm getting all these pop-ups. There was a whoops, come back. There was a thing that was right here.
Looking for a staircase in my mind. Play tape, hitting rewind, trying to lay down every track on time.
Yeah, so we had that rhythm. Ba ba go ba. So that's here on this 1, 2, 3. This A minor chord right here. 1, 2. Again, this is kind of shorthand. I'll clean it up later, but for now, I just need to know this rhythm is different. Ba da 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 da. This goes da 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 da. Rest. Oops. What's going on? Oh, I need to erase some. Hey, yeah. Oh, the places you'll go. So that tied to the half note. Da da ba. And then we got a chorus, which is gonna be E minor da, 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 to a B minor, and that just kind of repeats itself. All I'm doing is just I wrote down what I heard, and I'm dropping it over here, and that's pretty much it. This is my verse. This is the second ending of the verse. This is my chorus. There was a pre-chorus, I think, but it pretty much sounded exactly the same as of the verse. And we also have this thing as the ending. There was a push of some sort, I think. Let's listen to that end one more time. Okay, it was close. It was over the B minor chord. Wrong one. Oh, this was in the wrong spot. That's okay. All in due time. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Oops. Okay, so now I've got a chart that's easy enough for me to follow. Again, it doesn't look pretty. I would probably spend the time and clean it up and actually do it from top to bottom. But this is all I need from now. I'm going to save us time so that we can keep going. Let me just check and see if we got any questions. First time here. Hey, Michael. Welcome, man. Thanks for tuning in. Finale, too rich for budget. Music score is fiddly, but it's free. Yeah, you know what? Finale, it's just what we used in college. So it's what I've always used. There's Sibelius. What was one you just said? MuseScore. I mean, yeah, there's tons of like notation applications out there, but Finale happens to be the one I use just because it's the only one that I know how to use. Jasper says, different experience if we are all watching over your shoulder. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, so let's keep going. I've listened to the song. I've charted it out. Now it's time to start playing it. So, I'm trying to do also this. You can't see it; it's out of frame. But Presonus sent me this thing over. It's called there's a camera. It's called a fader port. So it gives me some motorized faders to touch and some things to work with. I don't know. I like that stuff. I like gear. I like toys. Okay, I'm ready to play this thing. So let me just do this. Okay, so like I said, the tone has already been chosen for me. They told me exactly what they wanted and did not tell me what to play. As you notice, I got the wrong screen on. Okay, so they didn't tell me like the notes or the chords or the groove or anything like that. So I'm kind of on my own to come up with whatever I want, using the tone that they ask for, which is this kind of big, beefy. That kind of sound. Even though that's not my go-to, that's not what I would have done for the song, but it is what they asked for. Oh, wait, hold on. My ears are cutting out. It's because I'm sitting on them. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play through the song one time just to get a feel for it. And here's the thing. This is a pro tip, all right? Even though I'm just playing through, I'm not going for a take, always press record. always, always, always record your first take. Because here's the thing, quite often the first one's the best one because it's the freshest. You haven't played it yet. You haven't really heard it. This is a great time to capture the moment because that's really what we're doing with recording art is we're trying to capture a performance and fresh ideas. And sometimes you'll do a first take and the producer will be like, oh, that was cool. Just do what you did. And I'm like, I don't know what I did. I was figuring it out, man. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna record all the way through. I'm not gonna stop and I'll go back and point out some things to you that I'm hearing or that I'm noticing. But now that I've listened all the way through, I've got my chart, we're good to go. So everything's looking good. Let's do it. Wait, hold on, okay, tech fail. This button right here, this little red button, means that it's only gonna record what's in this section right here. That's great for punching in if all I had to do was like hit that note or something. But I'm gonna record this from top to bottom, so we definitely don't want that. Okay, here we go.
Feels so good when it feels so right. Like we'll be this young all of our life. Got your number memorized. Can't forget the best summer of my life. Late, great, never on time. Looking for a steady piece of mind. Late tapes, hitting rewind. Trying to lay down every track on time. The summer of my life. At the time I thought I was bored. Leaving on my way to school. Always totally cool. Always did you ever hear an old school phone? I just wanna pick you up. I just wanna try my love. 50-50, we could run. When we hit the top, I'll blow your mind. Ooh, my summer, live like one. Super fine. Late, great, never on time. Looking for a steady piece of mind. Late tapes, hitting rewind. Trying to lay down every track on time. Did you ever hear an old school phone? I just wanna pick you up. I just wanna try my love. Every day when I'm alone, I just wanna pick you up. I just wanna try my love.
Okay, that's it. So that right there was my first pass. Now, one thing I'm gonna do, and I don't know how to do this in Windows. Hold on, wait. There's oh, envelopes. Is that what I'm looking for? No, not envelopes. Oh, layers. That's what I want. Where is it? Where is it? Every dog calls it something different. So you can see that everything I recorded just disappeared. I'm gonna go to full screen now because I don't need my chart anymore. I think I've got it. So yeah, so you can see right here. Dang it! Wait, where? Oh, expand layers. That's where we go. That's what I want. Hold on. I'm having a tech fail here. Oh, here we go. This is what I want. All right. So one thing that that most DAWs can do these days is you can create different layers. So this one we're going to call first take. So that way I know this is the most freshest one, and everything I record on the next pass is going to go to a different layer, and then people can like, you know, comp different sections out of it if they want, or, you know, just have it labeled take 1, take 2, take 3, and that way I don't have to create a bunch of different tracks. So anyways, just wanted to explain what I was doing there. Let me just jump over here, see if you guys got any questions. Better song already. Hey, Jasper, thank you so much, man. Michael, thank you. I appreciate that. Teeny waveform there. Yeah. The thing is, when you record digitally, a lot of people make the mistake of recording too hot. Your plugins, the majority of your plugins want your RMS level to be at -18 with peaks as high as -12. So meaning, because that's what analog gear is calibrated for. So if I plug my bass into an 1176, you want your signal to be at about -18. That's what that compressor was designed for. And the plugins that you use are also designed for the same thing. So if you're recording too hot and then you're going into these plugins that are emulating analog gear, you're coming in too hot and the plugins are going to distort on the input side and they're just not going to sound as good. Now, I mean, this is a bit too much. Let me come back over here so you can see. This is what it sounds like without my plugins in. I wanted to just cut that. Oh, I've got the wrong file. Come on now, hold on. All right, so take a look at this level down here. So you can see I'm at like -30. I'm well underneath where it needs to be. And that's just because I'm using this, I'm plugging directly into my interface. I'm not going into a DI first. So I'm actually not hitting the preamp at all. It's just passing signal through, which is awesome because then in post, I can boost that signal. You know, again, these are the plugins that I'm using. This is a Slate virtual mix rack. So I'm hitting a Neve. Oh shoot, what did I just do? I'm hitting a Neve 1073 style EQ going into an 1176 style compressor with some saturation, and then I'm just boosting it about 6 dB at the end. So that's the cool thing about digital is you have headroom. If I record the quietest signal, I can boost that in post to be as loud as I want because it's just all zeros and ones. Whereas in the analog realm, you run into hiss and distortion when you start doing that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's the reason why those waveforms are so tiny. Let me just take a look here and see what else we got. Killing it. Dude, Scotty, thank you, man. I appreciate that. One take Lewis. Well, to be honest, I did feel good about that one. I mean, in terms of like, did it get the point across and did I play the parts and did I hit any wrong notes? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think I goofed up at all. So I'm feeling confident with that. I could definitely send that over as a first take. But you'll see, you know, all these markers that I made, there was something there that I didn't get a chance to do because I don't remember what it was. So maybe I'll do like another pass that's a little more busy. And on that one, I'll come in at these spots and I'll do little punch-ins to sync up with whatever those ideas were. Love the sound of your bass. Dude, thank you very much. FG Jazz Bass. You know exactly why the bass sounds so good. Michael says, yeah, -18 makes sense. I scale my waveform up visually to help my brain. Yeah, there's that too. I mean, as long as you can hear it, it's not a big deal. Remember, you can use plugins to make it louder later. And yeah, Slate, the Slate plugins are fantastic. Hero Bass, nice to meet you, man. Not nice to meet you. We've met many times, but nice to have you in, dude. I appreciate you swinging by. Okay, so so I did my first take, and let's just call that the safe one. Because like I said, I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 passes. So now let's start mangling this a little bit. Now that I've played through it one time, there's a couple of things that I might want to do different. So if you noticed, the verse and the pre-chorus have the same exact groove. It's that riff. Gosh, that button I keep forgetting. Nope, now it's something else. Hold on. Ah. There we go. Okay. They both are built around that same riff, which is that. It's a very easy line. And since the verse is identical to the pre-chorus, you notice that the drummer did a couple of things differently. He went to halftime once. Yeah, just a few different things. So I'm going to try to do the same thing. And it doesn't need to be difficult. I could maybe play the same riff. Not the same riff, but something very similar to it, just an octave higher. And maybe that'll help differentiate the verse from the pre-chorus, because the chorus is already way different. I jumped to... I started going to like that surf type of thing. Double click, $5. First take was a good... I don't know what that is. Did you just give me $5? Is that a thing? Can we do that now? If so, I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. I didn't know that was a thing. Anyway, sorry. Let me get back to what I'm doing. I'll come back to you. What was I say? Oh, shit. You know what? I skipped step 1, so we may have to throw away that first take because I didn't tune first. Classic rookie mistake. What a tenderfoot mistake. Hold on. Thankfully, the E string is pretty good. I only pretty much used the E and the A. It was a little flat. That's okay. We have Melodyne. We can retune it. And as you can see, it's a pretty easy song. So if I had to play it again, I can fix that later. All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do our second pass now. And I'm going to try to differentiate the pre-chorus from the verse, even though it's the same riff, because the whole purpose of playing music is to move the song forward. And that doesn't just mean like playing, what am I trying to say? Moving the song forward with little tiny changes in between. Obviously, the change from the verse to the chorus is totally different. It's a different drum groove, it's a different bass line, but each time we're doing something a little bit different, I'm not a big fan of cut and pasting the same chorus or the same verse each time. And they may end up doing that. It's not my song, but I would much rather have it feel a bit more natural, a bit more fluid. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna play through it one more time. We'll call this one the busy one. And when it gets to these sections, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can know what they are ahead of time. Give me just one moment to listen through and see if I can come up with a line. Okay, so that was the one where the bass drops out. So. Okay, so right there, I need to remember to pause. Let me do that one more time, just make sure I've got it. So you see right there, that it was a pretty cool idea. I mean, that little line that I played afterwards, but it was the pause that set it up, that gave me the idea, like, oh, let's hit it for a second. Okay, now some descending line to get me to the next chord. I would have never come up with that idea on my own, but I got it from what the drummer did, or maybe the drums are programmed, I don't even know. but it was a cool part, and it triggered something in my creativity. So sometimes, if you're writing your own music or doing this, playing music for other people, and you're having a hard time coming up with ideas, just pause and listen to what the track is doing, and maybe something that someone else is doing is going to give you something to latch onto. Let's do that again at this next section. That little vocal melody. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So if I back that up and put that in context. Okay, so I gotta get my entrance into it because I totally forgot, so I kept sliding into it. But yeah, so that was another idea I got from the vocal, going into the pre-chorus. Let's see what this one was. All right, I do know the drummer on this track. I'm positive because I've worked with him before and I know this trick. Going into halftime, when you're not supposed to, and then bring it back up. So see if I can't do something to emulate that. Yeah, so just on the boo-doo-doo, and ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da, and then just get back into the riff. So, okay, was there anything else that I wrote down? Oh, there is. Okay, this one right here. And by the way, everything that I'm doing right now, here's what I should do. I should be tracking these just on their own, like just hitting this section, just getting the spots. That would actually make this a lot faster. I like to be able to do it all at once. That's the musician in me. I'm old school. I like the idea of like live tracking. In fact, every time I record with a band, we always live track it. There's no punch-ins. I'm just a fan of doing it the old school way. But it does take a little bit more time. So I wouldn't think less of anyone if you just come through and punch on these specific sections. But this is the way that I like to do it. Just try to get it all in one shot. Okay, so there was another pause right there. And since I like pulled the rug out the first time, this time you can see I glissando. Gliss is short for that. I did a slidey-do in the place of that that pause this time. So let's see if I can't make that work. Yeah, something along those lines. I don't know. We'll get it tighter when I actually play it. But so those are the four things. Right here we got a dropout. Right here we got the vocal melody. Right here we've got halftime, and then right here we've got, in fact, you know what? This is the future. I can write dropout, box melody, halftime. Halftime? Yeah, whatever. That's what we're calling it now. And then this one was drop gliss. So again, I'm just kind of using, this is kind of very particular to the way that I do things, but I try to use as much of this technology to my advantage as I possibly can. So you can see, you know, I charted it out right over here so I could export it as a PDF, take it with me. This is actually really cool too. If you can do this, if you can transcribe music like this, let's say I had to perform this. Let's say they want to take me out on tour. Well, if I tracked all the songs, I've already got all the charts. I can just sight read at the rehearsals. I don't need to learn the music now. I can just read the charts that I made already. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. And then things like this, naming the markers. A lot of people, if you're a producer and you're watching this, you probably think I'm insane. You would write chorus here and you would write verse here and give me the sections. I don't care about the sections. I want to know, where am I supposed to do something cool? Where am I supposed to, latch on with something? So yeah, just kind of using the technology to my advantage. Now, before I do another take, let me just take a look and see if we've got any other questions or anything. Everyone throw off Jamie's concentration with money. Yeah, apparently that'll do the trick. Double click, but yeah, seriously, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Apparently I have a tip jar, so if you feel like contributing, I won't say no to that. All right, let's do another pass. This one, a little bit more busy, and I'm gonna try to lock in with these things that I've laid out here. And if I get them, cool. If not, then I'll go back and punch them. But again, I like to always make the attempt of getting it one pass through. That's a pride thing, definitely. But also, I think it sounds better. I think it really does when it's one cohesive idea versus I'll do sessions where it's like, we'll record this part. Okay, now let's record this part. Okay, now let's record this part. And now let's do these little things in between. And the end result is just a bunch of chopped up, I don't know. I can hear it. I can hear it in the final result. Like, oh, we didn't play that all in one take. And so, such is life. Yeah, let's do it. Here we go. How do you like that? I forgot to turn my bass on again, man. That was not good. Okay, here we go.
Feels so good when it feels so right. Like we'll be this young
Okay, now here's another thing that your producer, your engineer, or your artist is really gonna appreciate, is I ended both of these songs the same exact way. I did a, I forgot I can't talk and play at the same time, but I did a ba-da, bow, right? I did that on the other take. So on this one, I'm just gonna punch this real quick just to give them something different, because sometimes they might want that. Dang it, hold on. Gotta hit that little red button again. Where is it? This one. Nope. Where is it? I think it's that one right there. Just something so that they have it. Again, if you have the the people there in the room with you, it's much easier. Yeah, since they're not here, I just want to give them as many options as I can without breaking the bank. There was something over here that I didn't like that I did, but I'm gonna leave it and just do something. I'm gonna give them one more take, and like it wasn't a bad note. It just wasn't my favorite thing, but I'm gonna give them one more. And something hit me when I was something hit me when I was playing this. Is the chorus changes are going from E to B minor, E to B minor, but I think I can give them something else also. I'm going to give them an alternate chorus. Sorry, hold on, I'm trying to, where is it? Layers. Add a layer. This was first take. We'll call that one we just did the busy take. And this one, let me just rename it real quick. Alternate chorus. Okay, so like I said, that chorus was just two chords, E minor, B minor, E minor, B minor. And that's what my ears are telling me. And again, they didn't give me a chart, so I could kind of reinterpret that however I want. And I really think that I can take it from an E minor. Dang it. To the B minor. Go to an A minor. And then go to a G major. It's still gonna work over the changes because it's diatonic, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm just gonna do one more pass, and I'm going to play an alternate chorus, and I'm gonna go town on this one too. I'm gonna play all of the extra licks, all of the extra notes that I can think of. Before I do that though, let me just check the chat stream over here. Okay, no new questions. If you guys have anything at all while I'm playing, anything you like, anything you hate, or anything like, why did you just do that? What, whatever. Please just leave it in the comments over there, and I'll get right back to it as soon as I can. All right, last pass, I promise. That stupid red button. You would think I know what I'm doing by now.
Feels so good when it feels so right. Like we'll be this young all our life. Got your number memorized. Can't forget.
Okay, I did screw up there, so let's just do a quick little punch. Back it up.
Did you ever hear an old school phone? I just wanna pick you up. I just wanna try my luck. Every day I know I'm alone. I just wanna pick you up. I just wanna try my
And let me just punch something there on that ending, do something a little bit different because I already played the other stuff a few times.
I just wanna try my
And I know that may not sound like much to you, but again, this is the gliss. I'm sorry, whoops. Hold on. This one here is where I glissed. This one here is where I held the note. Actually, these look about the same. Let me do that, just this one last note one more time. And here's the reason why I'm doing this. Hold on. Dang it! Okay, look at the length of the note. Compare this one to this one. This is where I just held onto the note. This is where I kind of hit it. It's a bit shorter. You can see the tail right here, right? And then we got this one where I did a full gliss, sliding down the neck. But yeah, I think between those three takes, again, there was a couple of notes in there that maybe I'm going to go back and listen to right now. And either do a punch in or just tweak it, copy and paste something from somewhere else in the song. But that's pretty much it. At this point, I'm feeling really good about these three takes. One is very straightforward. The other one is a little bit more playful. And then this one's got some alternate changes on the chorus and just some alternate things that I did at those special spots that I put in the markers there. So between those three, I'm pretty sure that the artist is going to be happy with what I gave them. They're going to have plenty of options, and they're not going to come back and ask me to do anything else. So let's do this. Yeah, we're asking questions right now. Let me pause for 1 second and just say this real quick. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. And this is the important part. Hit that bell icon right there. That means you're going to get notified each time that something new goes up, like this live stream. And also make sure you hit the like button, give this video a thumbs up so more people can come and join us next time. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's check out these other comments. My goodness, hold on. You know what? It looks like I missed quite a few of them. So let me pull it up on my chat window over here. Dang, we got more tips. Hey, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I didn't even know that was a thing. I wasn't trying to make any money with this, so thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, best live session yet. Not that the others were bad. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, man. Mark says Jamie's the best. Oh, no, Jamie is the bassist. That is true. I am a bassist. I'm certainly not the best. Speaking of the best, I do need to... Hold on. Hey! Dracula, shut up! That didn't help. That made it louder. My dog was just barking. Speaking of the best bassist, I am so unbelievably proud and excited to share with you guys next week. There's a podcast that's going live at the Bassist Podcast with Yannick Gwizdala, who in my opinion is the greatest bass player of all time. He's one of my heroes, has been for over a decade. And yeah, so I sat down with him. I went to his house yesterday. I had pinched myself. But it's the most unbelievable podcast I've done so far. So if you haven't checked it out yet, do I have a... Yeah, hey, the Bassist Podcast. Just open up your podcasting app on your phone and search in the Bassist Podcast, hit that subscribe button, and each time a new one goes live, you'll get notified. But that one with Yannick is going to go live on Monday. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. It was unreal. Sorry, I had to do a little side tangent there. Okay, so let's keep going down here. Evan says, I sincerely hope you plan on doing a follow-up video or stream once they get the track wrapped up? Sure. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that at all. I don't know. It depends. Okay, so sometimes an artist will send you a track and they never release it. Not because it never sees the light of day, but because they sold it to somebody else. So this could be a song for placement. That happens here in LA all the time. Placement meaning a sync license, like it's going to go to TV or film, because we have a lot of TV and film happening here in Hollywood. Yeah, so if they end up finishing the song and not passing it off to someone else, then yeah, I'm sure they'll share the final results with me. But if they're just going to take this, sell it to somebody, I mean, I'll have no idea where or when it ends up. But yeah, if it does, I'll definitely do that, man. Bluefoot says, if it's not rude to ask, how do you get the gig? A phone call. I've worked with the drummer before and some of the other people involved in the project. This producer, I don't even know his name, but they're just like, hey, we need bass. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah. Instead of paying me, let me do this with it, because I need permission to use their work. And obviously this video is getting monetized in YouTube later, so I don't want people to get angry. So that's actually something I've kind of started doing lately with some of the people that I work with, is just be like, hey, send me your songs. Don't give me any money, but let me use it in my YouTube channel and at thebassist.net and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how this one came about. Not all of them, though. Certainly not all of them, because then I'd go broke. Seems like your input signal is low based on the waveforms. Can I ask why? I actually, basso sinistra. I literally spent like 5 minutes talking about that just a little bit ago. You must not have been here during that part. So I'm not going to answer that now, but if you just rewind a little bit, I go into it in great detail. Jasper says, thank you for sharing. Dude, thank you for showing up and for listening, man. I really appreciate it. Your hearing is great. I would experience more trouble finding things out. Well, if you're talking about, if you're talking about this right here, like my ability to chart things out really quickly, this is something I had to do in college a lot. I'm not bragging here, but you'll notice that when I did this chart, when I wrote it out by hand and then transferred it over here, I didn't have a bass in my hands. I wasn't figuring it out. I just heard it and started writing it. The same as if you were talking to me and I was just writing down what you were saying, because I'm fluent in English, right? Well, in school, you would take these classes called oral skills or dictation, and literally you'd be in a room with 30 other people and you're just at your desk with a pencil and paper, and the professor would sit down and play a piece. And I'm not talking a single melody like what you just heard, chords, maybe other instruments too, melodies and bass lines, and you would have to notate the whole thing with no instrument in front of you, nothing. You just start writing it down. So I did that every single day for 4 years in a row, and I'm not bragging, but I got the only A+ every semester in that class. So this is just something that apparently that I have. I have a good oral memory. My brother is also very, very good. He got close. He didn't get 100%, but he got close. So yeah, that's a skill that I've worked on that helps me big time. People ask me all the time if it's important to know how to read music and music theory and that kind of stuff. And to be honest, no, because no one's ever handed me sheet music to play. Not really, except like orchestral music and that stuff. But if I'm doing what I'm doing just now, nobody hands me a chart. No one hands me written bass lines. But what I do is what I just showed you. I actually chart out the song over here so that later on, if I go on tour or if we play a gig, I don't have to relearn the material. I don't even have to rehearse. Like, I'll just show up and I'll sight read my own notes. So yeah, having a good ear and knowing music theory goes a long way. Even if it's not required for the gig, it can make your job a lot easier. And also it's going to train, it's going to give you the ability to learn songs really fast, which is probably something that you saw just now. Thankfully, it's an easy song, so I didn't have a lot of work to do. But yeah, that's definitely something that I recommend. If you're interested in boosting up those skills, hold on. I'm going to drop a link in here for you to check out. This is not a commercial by any means, but it totally is. I wrote an entire program called Ignite Musical Training. This is included in your membership at thebassist.net if you're one of the premium subscribers there. But that right there is a comprehensive course that I wrote on music theory and ear training. So it takes you through the first 2 years of a collegiate program, and I weeded out all the bullshit, all the things that you don't need to know. Because you don't need to know about Neapolitan chords. or German augmented six. Like these haven't been used in 200 years, but we study that stuff in college and we don't really need to. So I kept it very applicable, very not basic, but like everything you need to know to do what I just did here as fast as possible. So sorry, I didn't mean for that to be commercial, but I highly recommend you check that out. Let me keep going down here, the list. Evan says, did you guys get to say hello coffee drinkers together? No, we did not. He's talking about Yannick. Let's see. Yeah, by that point it was 11 a.m. I don't drink coffee past 10, so I wasn't drinking coffee anyways. Bass Players Anonymous says, I was going to ask about a sneak peek about Yannick, but you covered. How long has GHS been in the business? Since 1964. Kicking ass and taking names. There's a message held for review. I don't know what that means. Excuse me. Keep going down. Kenneth, do you know you could make a living as a model? Somebody could. This guy can't. I bet somebody could make a living as a model. Bluefoot says, low friends and high places. Gotcha. I need low friends. I don't really know what that means, but I'm all for it, and I like Garth Brooks, so I'll take it. Carlos wants to know, what school did I go to? Cal State, Northridge, CSUN, Cal State University of Northridge. State school, wasn't expensive. I advise if you want to go to school and study music, spend as little as possible, if not no money whatsoever, because that's one of the things, I won't spoil it, but Yannick and I were talking about that on the podcast about these expensive music schools that we love. I won't name any, but one of them rhymes with Erkley. And you're spending $70,000 a year for something you're going to pay back with $80 bar gigs. You know what I mean? Like it's a bad idea. So I went to state school and I loved it. It was a fantastic decision. Who is the artist? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know who the artist is. Like I said, this song could go to placement. It could get sold to somebody else. As far as I know, this is just for a producer. But yeah, it has a pretty cool, like indie, I don't know. When I heard it, I was thinking Black Keys. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Grazie. I think that's what that says. Thank you. And you're welcome. How lame was that? Jamie, where do you set your gain at? If you're talking on the interface, I am just plugging straight into it and using the high Z inputs. So that means you don't need to use a preamp at all. You don't need to, like if I was gonna gain it up, I would plug into a DI box like this, and then plug the 1/4-inch cable in and an XLR out into the interface, and then I would have to set the gain. In this case, since I'm going straight into the input of the interface and it has high Z inputs, I don't need to do any of that. So yeah, you just track and you can adjust your volume later. Oh, I was going to say this. Next week, there's a series starting here at my YouTube channel called The Bassist's Guide to Recording, where I'm starting a recording series. So I'm taking you from all the different equipment you need to buy and then how to plug it all in. And then I'm going to start doing mixing and tracking and editing and mastering tutorials at my YouTube channel. So stick around for that. No, don't stick around because I'm not doing it today. But next week, I think, is when that first video goes live. And I'm really excited about that. Out of season. Nice, I like it. Says, I'm really amazed at how fast you came up with something. That's really good. Well, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But I don't think I came up with anything at all. The song, it's a well-produced song. So the song kind of told me everything I needed to know. There was only a couple of spots where I took some liberties with what they were doing. But to me, I think that's a sign of a really, really good, well-written song, is when I don't have to ask any questions like, okay, so what do you want me to do? Should I do this or this or this or this? If I just listen to it and go, yeah, there's really just one thing for me to do, and it's play that. So I feel like that's the kind of song that that this was. Must be an English expression. Yeah, perhaps. Kenneth says, on a serious note, I want to take my bass playing to its next level. I hope you do. Yeah, I also want to do that. If you need help with that, send me a message. You can come join me at thebassist.net. Memberships are super affordable there. We have different tiers of membership. And also a percentage of the tuition each month goes to supporting a charity called charitywater.org. Those guys are putting clean drinking water in parts of the world that still don't have it. So you can check that out if you want. Sir Bluefoot says universities in the UK cost £27,000 a year for 3 years. Way more if you're a foreign student. Yeah, education is it's pretty expensive. Again, as a musician, I'm not going to say that it's not worth it, but I definitely think it's not worth paying a hefty price tag. Because here's the thing: people ask me all the time, like if they should go to school for music, and I'm always like, you know what? We have YouTube today. I didn't have YouTube when I was in college. We did, but it was just for watching episodes of like Metalocalypse before they got taken down the next day. So yeah, I think that there's so much education and so much information on the internet. Again, you got to be careful because anyone can be like, this is how you play the bass, and you don't want to follow that guy. But there's a lot of great information out there, and maybe you don't need to go to school these days to get the education. You might not get the paper, the diploma that has your name on it and the stamp of approval, but who gives a shit about that? I've never been asked to show my diploma. In fact, I don't even know where it is. I have no clue. It's not in this room. I don't even think it's in my house. I think my mom has it. The only thing I know about it is it has Arnold Schwarzenegger's autograph, because when I graduated college, he was the governor of California, and he probably didn't actually sign it, but that's the only thing I know about my college diploma degree. I don't even know what you call it. That's how little I know. Christopher says, thoughts on changing pickups and preamps on your bass? It's so hard to pick a company and go with. Yeah, that's kind of the drag, man. Not only is it hard to pick something to go with, but it's also difficult to A-B the two. You know what I mean? If I want to A-B a cable, it's easy. Play, like I can get there relatively quickly. But with pickups, to do it that fast, you have to have it on 2 different basses. And at that point, maybe the bass is making more of a difference than the pickup is because it feels different or whatever. So yeah, it takes some time to pull it apart, install the new ones, and then go back. So you can record. Actually, that'd be a great idea. If you really want to shoot out some different pickups, is buy a few of them, plug it in, do a recording like I just did, swap them out, record an identical passage. It's going to be difficult, but it's totally possible. And then take a listen, see which one you like more, or just which one in the moment kind of grabs you more. But yeah, that is a tough thing, especially if you're not a tech, and I'm not a tech. Jasper says, where do private lessons stand in the discussion? Are you talking about the discussion of like going to university and studying? Because if that's the question, then I mean, I still take private lessons. You always need to keep learning. You don't ever get a pass on that. Yannick Gwizdala was telling me yesterday, he still practices new things that he hasn't come up with yet. He's been playing for so long, and he's so amazing, and he still feels like he's at square one, you know? So yeah, I still study with a teacher, and I recommend that you do too. Sue Bluefoot says, our student loans work differently than yours. You have a deduction taken from your wages when you earn over a certain threshold. That sounds about right. Basso says, loved my years there, but regret the hefty expenses of Berkeley. Yeah, man. And that was in the late 90s. Diplomas in music are worthless unless you go into education. And that's what I tell people. Sorry, guys. Excuse me 1 second. Throat's getting a little dry. That is the ultimate answer that I tell people if they ask whether or not they should go to school for music, or their kids, or maybe it's a high school kid that's getting ready to graduate. There's 2 times where it works out really well. Are you going to be a Philharmonic orchestral musician, or are you going to teach at a university or a high school? If you answer yes to either one of those, then yeah, you should go to school without a doubt. But if you want to be a good musician, you don't need a piece of paper that tells you you're a good musician. Just go out and learn that shit. Carlos says, does every artist give you an almost completed track like this one? No, not at all. What is your approach when you don't have much to work with? This is something that I talk with a lot of session players about. Because you'll talk to some people that are old school. You know, they'll be like, oh man, back in the day, we had all the way to do it. We all had to get in the same room, and it was the best way. It sounds so much better. And I agree that is fantastic. But there's a skill that that I have, or that people who are doing this nowadays, that we've developed, which is a much more efficient imagination. Meaning, when I'm playing a song, like this one was mostly produced, but sometimes all I got is an acoustic guitar and a vocal. You know, and it's like, oh, there's gonna be like at this part, there's this huge, like these strings come in, and you know, there'll be some play back and forth between you and the keyboard player. I don't know, just use your imagination and pretend it's there. And that's hard, man. That's hard to do. I mean, it was hard tracking to tape all in one take back in the 70s, no doubt. But they didn't have to use their imaginations the way that we do. So I'm not saying it's better or it's worse, but yeah, sometimes you'll just get a song that's skeleton, bare bones, and that's all you got. I'm going to answer one more question, but before I do, I just want to say a quick thank you again to GHS Strings. Go check them out, man. GHSstrings.com. Tell them that I sent you there. The bass boomers and the precision flats. Oh my God, the precision flats. I have it. Oh, none of the basses are in here. I have it on my P bass, 2 P basses, and my Guild Starfire. It's the only way to go. But thank you, GHS. I really appreciate it. Well, I said I was going to answer one more question, but there aren't any. I'll give you to the count of 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh, here we go. Christopher, I'm late signing on and only caught the end of your discussion about reading music. Can you tell us which software you score? Yeah. I said that in the beginning as well, but it's okay. You just got here. Don't worry about it. I use Finale. Where is it? Hold on, this button. Yeah, this is what I use, Finale. It's what we used in college, and so that's the reason why I use it. I have no idea if it's better or worse than any of the other ones, but yeah, it's what I use because it's what I've always used, and it's pretty stable. It works great, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and please come back next time. Give this video a thumbs up. That way it improves the rankings. And if you haven't, make sure you click that notifications button so you'll get notified every time that I go live. So obviously, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel by clicking on this button down here. And if you really like what I do, come hang out with me at thebassist.net. And also check out the Bassist Podcast. New episodes go live each and every week. And this coming week, I'm sitting down with Yannick Wizdala, one of my favorite bass players on the planet. So guys, thank you so very much for joining me today. And for those of you who did the super chat and donated $5 or whatever it was, the tip jar, I did not know that was a thing, but thank you so very much. I'm going to buy my wife dinner tonight with that. So take care. I'll see you next time, and enjoy your weekend, guys.